Now I would request Anuba and Hanu to start with the presentation. Over to you.
Hello everyone, thank you for the opportunity. So I am Anubha and Harnoor will be starting with the presentation. Thank you.
So, yeah, this is the picture from the first day. And I'll talk briefly about where was I when I started the fellowship and what was I looking for in YND. And I'd completed my bachelor's in psychology from DU, and I was planning to do my master's in either child or community development, child psychology. And Priya Youth seemed to hit the sweet spot between both of these. Now, the unit of analysis within the field of psychology is an individual. But if you want to consider social change, you need to be able to connect with these individual level processes to population level outcomes. And this was the major reason, at the focus of identity and society modules within the YND program. I've been struggling with fears of public speaking ever since like high school, and it was crippling. So when I read that the fellowship will focus on youth leadership, I felt like it's the right place to work on these fears. I hope that not many people can relate with this, but my college was nothing like a TED talk or a place where dialogue was appreciated. And I'd moved to Delhi for my undergrad, but due to the entire focus being on theory, the experience was really dull. Another reason for signing up for the fellowship was the dichotomy between my experiences that I was able to intellectualize to cope in the world, but I wasn't able to harness these understandings and put them into action. I knew that there were social issues that I didn't completely understand, but was blissfully overlooking them because they didn't directly affect me. For example, there was gender fluidity and sexuality. And as it later turned out, everything directly affects you when you're in the social sciences. The last reason was that there's this notion within psychology, or at least that's how it was in my college, that they tried to add a quantitative element to every research project in order to justify its authenticity. So I had the opinion that the only effective form of research was quantitative. But at Priya, I realized the value and importance of participatory research. Moving on, what I learned at the YND was the importance of a holistic perspective. And by holistic, I mean connecting the self with identity and society. And not just in the sessions that we attended, but we were also given reading materials for all of these three schools of thought: philosophy, psychology, and sociology, which really helped me to understand the different units of analysis that I mentioned earlier. Okay, understanding where our identity is situated in the social spectrum, it was really important because, you know, there were so many sessions of how we wear masks and where we act as a different person and how identity interacts with our social surroundings. Yes, perspective taking. It's not until you understand the functioning of any social structure in all its complexity that you will be able to initiate change. And perspective taking sessions are a very healthy way to build this understanding. And these were the sessions that I enjoyed the most at YND. Priya Youth gives you a platform, gives us everybody a platform, but where you get the best of both worlds at YND is because you're getting Priya's resources as well. Okay. Yes, we've been to so many organizations where I otherwise couldn't have gotten an opportunity to go, but the best one of these was actually Priya itself, because we met fellows and interns, exchange students, and we're still all connected on social media. And these are people from all over the world. And yes, it's just, a part of life now. This point speaks for itself. I was able to work on my public speaking because Nikita, Pooja, Shubhangi, and the facilitators, they created a safe space and encouraged expression within an inclusive environment that everybody could contribute to. Okay, even in our social action project, everybody is working within a different paradigm, but the method of participatory research is common to all, and learning this and its importance was very enriching. And lastly, I was able to incorporate all of these points in our social action project. And I'm grateful that I got to learn all of this. Back to Anubha. Oh, actually, sorry, one more point. These were my favorite sessions. The one by Nandita ma'am on gender identity, and the other one on self-development and coping mechanisms by Rajesh sir. Anubha, back to you.
So, hi everyone, I am Anubha Gopal and I am currently pursuing my Masters in Social Work from University of Delhi. And I was told about this fellowship by one of my professors, and I got really attracted by the module design itself. And it beautifully related self and social change via identity and society modules. So as a student of social work, I could guess what it meant, but was really clueless about how much each module had to offer. And so without any second thoughts, I decided to take up this great opportunity to explore all these dimensions. So the prime motive of me joining this fellowship was that I actually wanted to gain practical insights on the terms like self, identity, society, and social change, other than the theoretical aspect, which I was aware of already. So I also expected that this would be a great opportunity to develop my own skills and understanding by getting to know fresh perspectives of experienced resource persons from various fields. And I also looked up to it as it finally gave an opportunity to work on an issue which was close to our hearts, and also did not we had open hand to do anything what we wanted to do, but in the participatory manner. So all this was what I expected from it. And now what I gained from this fellowship. So during this 9-month fellowship program, there wasn't even a day when I was not excited about these sessions. And the very first day of the orientation program, it filled me up with so much of fresh energy as we were interacting with each other for the first time through a game. And that positive energy the positive energy that was exchanged that day. I can still feel that. And during the sessions on self module, I realized the importance of knowing and caring my own self, which also includes my own 5 senses and the conscience. The greatest takeaway was in this process, one must remain careful of not becoming an excluded self. During the sessions in identity module, while doing identity mapping of myself and 3 more people close to me, I learned how democracy works in our lives and to what extent we are free to practice it. These sessions also helped me to understand that democracy can be truly practiced when I actually simplify complex theories and concepts and try to, imbibe it in my life and practice it myself. And the enriching and fun-filled participatory activities definitely had deep impact on my own thought process, which helped me broke my own myths, prejudices, and widened my horizon of viewing things. One of the sessions which really changed my perspectives to 360-degree related to gender and identity was decoding sexuality and identity. And of course, how can I forget to mention that the exposure that we got in the prestigious organizations like UNESCO, where we had a wonderful interactive session on sustainable development goals. Back to you, Harnoor.
Thank you, Anubha. Okay, so I'll briefly talk about why did we choose the topic of male child sexual abuse, apart from every other topic. And here we can see a difference between the number of girl child sexual abuse cases and the number of boy child sexual abuse cases in India. And there is also a tremendous difference when we compare these statistics with those of the United States. Notice how the variation between girl and boy child sexual abuse is present in India and not so much in the US. Now, this huge difference could either be because of the stigma of reporting crime, or the legal differences between the two countries. Either ways, it isn't based on gender in the USA. Also, India has such low numbers because conviction rates refer to only cases which have completed court proceedings in the current year, and the ones that carry forward to the next year, they are incidentally a larger number than the previous ones. So it is important to raise the topic because many times they're asked why male child sexual abuse and not a mixed group, which brings us to another question, that is child sexual abuse gendered? This project does not infer that this project does not infer in any way that male child sexual abuse is different from female child sexual abuse, but focuses on the social dynamics playing out on the legal, familial, and emotional levels. It is this lack of narrative of a male child abuse survivor that brought us to try and understand the reasons behind these lost voices. Also, we need to understand that the child sexual abuse is less about acting on sexual desire and more about the power relations between the victim and the abuser. Lastly, I want to mention that how we could correlate these our understandings from the modules conducted at YND with the social action project. The first one was hegemony and the differences in power relations. The second module that really helped us understand this context was self-development and coping, where, how does a victim, or we in general life as well, cope with instances that we're not, mentally ready for. And the last one was how gender, sexuality, and identity are, concepts that really impact our understanding of every situation. So back to Anubha now.
Yes. Our original idea about the social action project was to carry out sessions on awareness and action against child sexual abuse in Trilokpuri community in Delhi. However, due to pandemic, we had to get into completely online mode. We were really stuck as to how will we get this done on online mode, as it was very sensitive topic and an issue. So we had a lot of difficulty in getting the participants who were okay to talk about it. We interacted with adult males who had experienced child sexual abuse and were comfortable in sharing their stories with us. We reached out to them via word of mouth and a poster that we circulated on social media platforms. So all the participants were Indian, aged between 21 to 31 years as of June 2020. We conducted in-depth semi-structured interview via audio calls, which was recorded with the prior consent of the participants. So the key results that we could reach to after data collection and after interacting with the participants is that none of the participants shared about the sexual abuse with anyone until their teenage years. And in all the cases, without exception, the abusers were known to the participants. None of them took legal action on this front. And it was shared by the participants that they shared this experience with only the trusted close ones who were aware and sensitive towards this issue, and made them realize that it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault at all. So yes, that was all about our social action project. Thank you very much.